Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. So, we have come to the end of the last session, which is panel discussion. After discussing assessment, audit, adjudication, and appeal, now the most awaited session for the day, where all the esteemed speakers are lined up for the panel discussion. So, are we ready for this? Okay, chalo, very nice. So now I would like to call the panelist, CA Rajarshi Das Gupta on the dais, CA Pramod Gupta, CA Manoj Kumar Kedia IRS officer, Shagun Tulsian sir, Shagun Tulsian ma'am, Arun Agarwal sir on the dais. Can we have a big round of applause for all the esteemed panelists? Priyanshi, please be on the dais. So, I would like to introduce Sri Manoj Kedia sir. Sri Manoj Kedia sir is an esteemed IRS officer of 1994 batch and a principal commissioner of CGST at the Kolkata Commissionerate. He's a BTech in civil engineering and MTech in structural engineering from IT BHU Varanasi. He has extensive experiences in commissionerate and directorates, and he has a vast knowledge regarding speaking in public platforms and GST matters. Can I request CA Swapnil Jain? Okay, so Ayush Jain to please present a memento, Mr. Manoj Kedia, sir. Okay. So the second panelist is Pramod Gupta, who is a CFO of Haldia Petrochemicals. Pramod Gupta is an accomplished finance and operational leader with the extensive experience managing rapid growth and turnaround in various industries and geographies. With over 17 years in CFO roles across South and Southeast Asia, now I would request CA Siddhant Jajodia to present a memento to Pramod Gupta, sir. So the third panelist for the day, CA Shagun Tulsian, who is the president of Tax Imami Limited. CA Shagun Tulsian is a chartered accountant and lawyer and currently serves as the president of Direct Indirect Tax and Legal at Imami Limited. With over 16 years of industry experience, she has been with Imami Limited since July 2020. Her expertise and leaderships are instrumental in ensuring the company's compliance and strategic legal positioning is on an effective and efficient way. May I request CA Shivani Shah to present a memento to CA Shagun Tulsian. Can we have a big round of applause? So our fourth panelist is Rajarshi Das Gupta, who is a national head, Acae Law. Rajarshi Das Gupta is a distinguished executive director and leader of GST and indirect tax, serving as a data privacy lead assessor and faculty member at Nasin and West Bengal State GST. Before joining Acae Law, Rajarshi was associated with renowned organizations such as KPMG, PwC, and CA Tires, recognized by the Lex Talk World as the leading taxation professional in the year 2023 India. May I request CA Shubham Khaitan to present a memento to Rajarshi Das Gupta. So, our very own moderator for the session, CA Arun Agarwal sir, is a qualified chartered accountant and possesses more than 2 decades of experiences in various areas of indirect taxation. He regularly represents the industry and trade bodies before the government on numerous issues in indirect taxation. CA Arun Kumar Agarwal sir has contributed in many eminent books, and he has authored the commentary on West Bengal VAT and practical guide to West Bengal VAT audit. He has been regularly appearing in print and electronic media with the help of his vast network. He brings excellent connectivity with many medium and large corporates. Now I would request Krishanu Das Gupta sir to please present a memento to CA Arun Agarwal sir. Bhattacharya. Krishnanu Bhattacharya, please. Past Chairman, EIRC. Thank you. So, when we were planning for this GST conclave, our very own Tarun sir had an idea that we should do a survey, right, with the professionals, what the professional thinks, what is the GST right now, the present scenario after 7 years. So I just thought of it, the survey results are out, and it's more than 100 people who have participated in the survey. So all are professional chartered accountant lawyers. So each one is handling more than tons of clients. So the survey results of more than 1,000 people, if I can say so, right? So can we have the survey results on the screen? Okay. So the first survey was the overall compliance under GST have reduced compared to the pre-GST regime. So there was 44% people agreed on it, and few disagreement was also there, 14%. So this was the first thing. The panel discussion will be on the survey results, and the journey so far, the GST has been helpful in ease of doing business. So the next survey was overall cost of transportation and logistics had reduced in the GST era. Yeah, 53% people have agreed on this. So I think our professionals are happy with the GST coming as an indirect tax thing. The third is GST return process is quite seamless and easy to manage. 65% people has agreed on this, because I think that 3B data is being auto-populated from GSTR1, and 2B, 3B reconciliation has become an easy task right now. So GST portal has been an enabler for compliance. 70% people has agreed on this. So yes, I think the compliance has been very enabling in GST, because the three returns are synced with each other in every different way. Okay, the e-way bill system has been implemented in effective manner. 70% people has agreed, and I think e-way bill is one of the major good impact on the system, where people like professionals or any taxpayers are very happy with this system. Okay, e-invoicing is a helpful tool for invoicing under GST. There's an agreement of 67% people out there. Cost of compliance has reduced under GST as compared to pre-GST regime. 42% people agreed. I think this is a matter of debate to be happen, right? And people can come up with different aspects to it. Provisions of input tax credit are quite tedious and restrictive in nature. 42% people have agreed, because when GST started from seamless flow of credit, it became seamless flow of credit. So I think that's the marking is good enough for the crowd. Okay, inquiries and notices have increased under GST as compared to the pre-GST regime. 51% of people agreed, yeah, we are receiving lots and lots of SMT 10, DRC 07 and orders, right? And it's good for professionals only. On an overall basis, GST has helped in ease of doing business. 53% people have agreed on this, and this is the panel discussion is whole about. And now I hand over the proceedings to our moderator, Arun sir, to take the session forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. Friends, we have paucity of time as usual. I think 5 o'clock, Tarun has given me a leeway by maybe 10-15 minutes, correct? So we need to try to finish by that time. The topic of discussion, as Rohit already presented, the journey in GST so far shows that GST has been helpful in ease of doing business. And that is the survey all about, actually. Although the survey results are quite surprising even to me as well. But definitely, for sure, points for happiness for our principal commissioner who is with us. He would be definitely happy to see the results that yes, 60, 70, maybe 70, more than 70% people are actually saying that it has helped in ease of doing business. So with that opening remarks, friends, we have a composition of panel from industries, from consumer products industries, from heavy industries, from legal side, Rajoshi Dasgupta, advocate, and from the department side, of course, the Principal Commissioner, Kolkata North, Mr. Manoj Kedia. I would just start with a simple question. Maybe if I would expect every one of them, the panelists, in 1 minute to answer. Do you think the journey so far shows that GST has been helpful in doing business? I'll start with immediately from my right, Shagunji from Imami. Shagunji, do you think?
Thanks, Arunji, for this question and for inviting me for this panel. And good afternoon, everyone over here. Yeah, I do strongly believe that GST has made life easy for professionals like us. Earlier, we had huge plethora of very intense laws like VAT laws for every state, MNTP Act, excise. So all these acts changing at different levels, some at state level, some at center level. So now things have just all come together. So basically we have to keep one book. Definitely we have to read almost daily because there's so many changes coming, but at least we are focusing on one work. So it has made easy for people like us who are working in corporates and surely on the consultant side too.
So that's great. We must clap everyone for that. Compliments from the industry side. As usual, of course, as expected from a consumer products industry. Second, Manoj Kedia sir, do you think even maybe from the department, on the other side of the department of the table, do you think, sir, the GST has been helpful in ease of doing business?
So, good evening to all. As far as department is concerned, their life is not easy. It's basically, maybe the industry's life is easy. We have to work, after 30 years of work, I put much harder work in GST regime than in central excise and service tax regime. As far as industry is concerned, what I feel, that those who are basically regulated industries, large industry, those who are basically computerized industry, so their life is easy, ease of doing business. I think everyone should agree with this. It is easy for them. But as far as small businessmen are concerned, I think their life is not easy. They have to put a lot of effort in compliance, and it may not be an ease of doing business in case of small taxpayers, a small businessman. Maybe the unregulated or not a formalized businessman. That is what my view is. Thank you.
Friends, we must clap for that honest statement from the department. Manoj Kedia sir, being in the department for last 30 years, handling central excise, means manufacturers, service providers, and even being in the intelligence side as well. So he knows well how the industry has been experiencing in pre-GST era, that means in central excise, service tax, VAT of course indicative because he has not been in the VAT department, but nevertheless it's a very courageous statement from him to say that yes, it has been complicated, maybe not as expected. May I, Pramod ji, on your...
Thank you, Arunji. In fact, I am right now in petrochemicals, but when the GST started, I was in Microsoft, so that is IT. Then from there, I went to a startup, which was logistics. Then from there, I went to Arvind Fashions, which was retail. And now I am in petrochemicals. So I have had a good fortune of looking at the laws from many different angles. I think I would agree with Mr. Kedia completely that for the organizations which are pan-India, which have got large number of units, spread out operations and a good IT infrastructure, for them it is a boon. But for those who are not as organized, which are relatively smaller, we don't have as much resources, for them it is not so. And also those who were above board, for them it is much better. But for those who were, there have been historically many organizations which is known as having 2 books of accounts and all. For them it is definitely hell. So therefore it's good for those who are organized and larger, not so good for smaller, and hell for those who are who have been trying to do things which are not exactly above board.
Thank you, Pramod ji, again for sharing your experience. Rajarsi, from legal, as a legal consultant, he would have a different perspective, of course. So, what is your...
Hello. Thank you, sir, and good afternoon, everyone. If I cover it from the overall perspective from across industries as I see across industries and how things are. So introduction of GST definitely primarily it has brought in a lot of uniformity. It has removed the multiplicity of taxes. That's really a extremely ease of doing business. Number one, from a departmental side, it has increased the tax base. And that's the reason the revenue across for the department and for India Incorporated has increased. That's quite commendable. There has been a tax rate reduction for certain industries, like if I talk about pharma and other places, there has been a tax rate reduction because in the erstwhile regime there has been multiplicity of taxes and all. Digital India has provided a lot of impetus on easing the compliances. So in one hand, definitely it's ease of doing business. On the other hand, if I see that there are certain things, as my friend was sitting next to me, was talking about seamless credit when GST came in. So the word seam has remained constant, but the seam has gone out, so it is now less credit. So that primarily has taken away quite a good night's sleep for a lot of people. Number two is increasing of tax litigations across. So you get multiple notices from different departments from across. So because in erstwhile regime there was a concept of centralized registration, especially in service tax. Now it's decentralized registration. So across the different states you get notices and you have to run across. Good for the professionals, I would definitely say. So to sum up, so I would say it's a mixed bag. One, definitely ease of doing business for a lot of people, simplicity and all, but on the other hand, if certain things are being taken care of, it would be more ease of business as time would come by.
Thank you, Rajosi, again for your comments on that. Friends, I am a little confused. Our commissioners are saying that those who have better IT infrastructure, our friend Mr. Pramod Gupta also saying that who have better IT infrastructure, that means for the larger entities it is easier, but for the small and medium, micro and small probably, for them it has been difficult, it has made them difficult. Our Commissioner State Taxes earlier in the morning was saying that department is using artificial intelligence, machine learning, so for governance of GST. So department is using artificial intelligence, that means IT infrastructure. Large corporates are using IT infrastructure to handle ease of doing business in GST, but small, micro and small entities are not able to do that. So that means, is it that the government is not really aware that it is more based on IT infrastructure, more based on IT enabled infrastructure, and so it would be difficult for the micro and small entities? Is it not in the notice of the government? That probably is really something that is confusing me. With that, friends, I would come to the second round. I would like to start with Manoj Kedia sir again, although he has covered partly on this issue. Sir, do you think that compliance burden has actually reduced in GST regime when compared to central excise or service tax, more particularly because you are connected with those two departments you have been for last 30 years, or rather initial 25 years, sir?
As far as compliance burden is concerned, so we have to see in overall perspective. There were multiple taxes earlier. So if you combine the compliance of multiple taxes with single tax, so if you compare that, so definitely it has reduced compliance burden. But if you just compare the compliance burden of central excise or service tax or VAT with GST, so definitely it has increased. Earlier, basically, in case of central excise or service tax, there was no invoice matching. There was no uploading of the documents, invoices. But at present, the complete document need to be uploaded. There was no concept of e-invoice that time, no concept of e-way bill. But now government wants that, as far as ITC is concerned, that ITC should be taken only if the tax has been paid by the supplier, then only the ITC should be taken. So that is why to check the problem of ITC. So entire system is there. So if you have the IT structure, IT infrastructure, then there is no problem. Then we cannot say that if you have you are generating the e-invoice in the system, if you are generating the e-waybill in the system, and automatically it is being uploaded in the system, then definitely the compliance level has reduced. But factually it does not happen. If you see, that is why I was saying that if you go for the large taxpayers, so everything is system based. They are generating this invoice in the system, automatically it is being uploaded in the system by the system itself. So there is no problem. So they don't feel any problem. But if you see the small taxpayers, I will give you the example. You go to any Chandni Chowk shopkeeper. So they will issue an invoice. You will not find the GST there. Finally, what they do, the actual businessman, the small businessman, because if you see what exactly GST is basically on the value addition. And why the ITC is introduced? ITC is a system so that you pay tax only on the value addition. If you see where the actual value addition is happening, now as far as goods are concerned, once the manufacturing is happening, and if the goods are being consumed at the consumer level, so maximum value addition is at the last level, because there the maximum profit is there. The maximum, maybe at the first level, the government there is no revenue loss there. The government is getting the tax. But here, at the last level, although the value addition is there, but the government should get the tax. Now, the small businessman, where the actual value addition is there because of the high profit margin, their actual businessman is not generating the e-invoice. They are not generating any computerized invoice. In fact, they are not keeping the account of everything. I have seen in most of the cases, they are giving the entire document to their chartered accountant, and the chartered accountant, maybe not the chartered accountant, they are tax consultant. They are basically preparing the invoice at the end of the month, and in the name of XYZ. So this is the biggest problem. So as far as compliance burden is there, so definitely it has increased for the small taxpayers, maybe for the medium taxpayers. But as far as large taxpayers is concerned, it has reduced. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your views again. So IT, portal, systems, it is making our life easier, at the same time making it complicated for some others. With this, I would like to switch over to Shagunji, but again, I just forgot to mention that please 3.5 minutes each. So although sir has already confined to that 3.5 minutes, Shagunji, do you see that legal disputes in GST regime compared to obviously earlier regime, legal disputes do you think have reduced in GST regime?
I don't think so. I think so the legal disputes has really shot up, particularly for the input credit. So we've seen the last 3 years huge activity in, I think so, including big company, small company, everywhere, where the department has questioned every input credit. So they had, as correctly said by Rajshri and the moderator, that seamless is completely out. And we are questioning the input credit which has been rightly taken based on an invoice. And Manojji, you said that the compliances are to be done by big companies, but I have a point here. We can manage our compliances. We cannot manage other compliances. But the structure which has been set up by GST is not only to manage my compliance, but to ensure that my supplier is as much compliant as I am, which is practically not possible. So I think so from the input credit side, there have been huge litigations. And after, in last 1.5 years, I'm sure every company is slapped with 3 to 4 minimum DGST notices. And those are all in similar matters. So no, I think so it's a waste of time from the department as well as from the clients or from the companies to handle similar matter litigations. So I would request Mr. Manojji also to take back and see that how do we find a solution. But yes, government is very proactive. I should really pass on that message also. The latest amendments are also showing that government is conscious and taking the inputs from the industry.
I will just comment on this. See, as far as legal dispute is concerned, I will say it has reduced. The reason is, nature of legal dispute has reduced. If you get the notice, most of the notice is on the ITC. As far as valuation is concerned, you won't get any classification is concerned, hardly you will get any notice. Most of the notice is maybe the notice is with regard to the RCM, but most of the notice is with regard to the ITC. ITC is a big problem. Why ITC is a big problem? The reason is the fake invoicing. That is the biggest problem. In my calculation, my 80% clients are basically issuing the fake invoices. You won't believe that. Every day I am able to catch more than 30 to 40 crores. This is how it works. Why? Why it is happening? There are multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. The reason may be there are invoices which are going to, the goods are given to somebody else and the invoices are being given to somebody else. Maybe the invoices are being generated to increase their turnover. Reason may be multiple. But the fact is that it is happening. It is department, the government has also accepted that. Government is trying to plug up these loopholes, but it is not exactly happening. So, most of the dispute, like you will find now, presently you will get all the so-called notice that your supplier is ab initio cancelled. You will find, most of the cases you will find now. 16(4) cases, government has already taken decision. So in case of 16(4) cases, government did not have a big problem. The reason was that already duty is paid, you can always, you are entitled for the credit. It is only the matter of time, so you are getting the credit. But what happens in case of ab initio? In ab initio cases, basically the goods has not, fake, what is meaning of fake? Fake means you have got the document, but goods or services has not come to you. So most of the cases is with regard to the ITC. It will take some time to stabilize. Secondly, what Madam has said, that it is a waste of time for department to dispute. I agree. I also agree that department will lose at last time. But who is beneficial? CA and the lawyers. Department. But department has to teach the lesson to those people who are doing this. See, government does not have much problem with that. Maybe 1 lakh crore rupees, the ITC fake invoicing is involved. But because the department is going to lose the case, see, it's very difficult. I have to check the document of a company. See, you are doing the audit for one company, you are taking at least 1 month. I have only time of half an hour to find out what is wrong with that. And within half an hour, I detect the cases of 50 crore rupees, 100 crore rupees within a span of 10 seconds. This is the time limit which is given to me. Because it's a volume of work which is flowing across me. So, we have to do the work, whether department lose or not. See, what happens for the department? What is our task? Our task is we have to find out that you are doing something wrong. And what exactly is happening? Before the court of law, I have to give the full proof evidence, which is just impossible. And that is why department is losing and everyone is winning. We have no shame with that. But the fact remains that it is a case of fake invoice. Even the government is not getting the revenue. But the fact remains that it is a case of fake invoice. We don't have the full evidence. We cannot collect the full evidence. It is a social problem, I'm telling you. It is a social problem. If the correct revenue is collected, your rate of duty is going to reduce. Because the correct revenue is not being collected, it is a combined effort. We are collecting revenue not for us. It is for you we are collecting. And it is your duty to give the correct revenue so that your rate of duty is increasing, will reduce. If you don't give the correct revenue, what will happen? Your rate will increase. Everyone will suffer. So it's combined responsibility. And as a chartered accountant fraternity, it is your responsibility to ensure. Yesterday I booked a case, listed company, and the company was just issuing the fake invoicing. We have so much of fake invoices. We asked the chartered accountant. He said, I don't know anything. Answer lies with you, not with us. Thank you.
So thank you, Kedia sir. Again, madam, probably you would agree that classification disputes have reduced. But
I would say it is otherwise, and I'll just give you an example, Manuji, since you touched upon a classification. So what we've had a very case where the principal commissioner of Mumbai issues a direction to all the commissionerates of India that this is a issue on a classification. Now all of them are writing to us because we are registered across the country. In Mumbai, my matter is closed in my favor. But all the other states are after us. When we give them this order, that you see Mumbai has already closed, they are saying, I don't care. I've got an instruction, I have to issue a show cause and it will be against you only. So I understand the challenges which you have very correctly said, but I'm saying that things are just not that simple too. And earlier, there was a classification of VAT matter would relate to only one state. But now if it is a classification matter coming, it is on pan-India. And you have Supreme Court judgments to support that. But I'm sure department also has this challenge to have something on their account that yes, they've done some research, they've issued some show cause notice. But these are also challenges from the industry, and more so the challenge come to the setup industry which are compliant. See, the ones which are not compliant, actually the department is not even able to catch them, get hold of them. You are holding companies which are even otherwise compliant. So this is a challenge, and I understand your job is also to, block the leakages, but in that the ones which are very structured and in compliance, they are also getting hurt by it. Thank you.
so the point that is coming out is, and of course it is for sure that with the new tax regime, classification disputes largely overall have to come down, and it has definitely come down. Scope of classification disputes have reduced. But with that, the new challenge that has come up more strongly, that is ITC. Claim of ITC, matching, reversal, everything what commissioners are already discussed. With this now, sir, Pramodji, what about the logistics? Logistics cost, logistics speed. What is your view about the GST regime? What is your experience?
I think logistics cost overall in India, if you were to look at last 10 years, progressively they've come down. But we can't say that it is entirely due to GST. I mean, there are a number of things. The road infrastructure is improving. The quality of vehicles is improving. The average speed of the vehicles is increasing. Their ability to carry higher loads is increasing. The whole FASTag has also significantly reduced the queues on the highways, etc. But obviously GST has also played a very significant role in terms of post e-invoicing even more so. And therefore you don't have to really carry so many documents. Your document checking time at the checkposts has come down. Your variability of classifications from state to state has come down. So overall it has contributed towards reduction of the logistics cost. But there are many things to make a family. So therefore it's part of the entire chain of things that have happened to reduce, but we have a long way to go.
Correct. So thumbs up again for GST, that logistics, so it has contributed to the faster logistics and reduced cost on logistics. So coming to Rajarsi, procedural milestones have increased in numbers in GST. Procedural milestones means here if ऐसा है तो फिर आपको ये follow करना है, next ऐसा है तो then you have to follow this form, then that form, then Tarun was also suggesting one more forms. I think already few hundred forms are there. So and कहीं पे भी I just take an example of Vidyasagar Setu. In Calcutta, Vidyasagar Setu, if you are going to ride Vidyasagar Setu, तो तो आपको सही जगह पे सही माइलस्टोन फॉलो करके यू हैव टू गेट अप. अदरवाइज मेयर रोड से आप चढ़ेंगे तो या रेड रोड से चढ़ेंगे तो आप प्रोबेबली मे बी यू विल लैंड अप एट एस्प्लैनेड या मे बी एजेसी बोस रोड या कौन सा है सो दोज एरिया. या अगर आप राइटली चढ़ भी गए उसके बाद में गेटिंग डाउन देयर आपको सातरा कैसी जाना है, आप पहुंच गए नवान्नो, या नवान्नो जाना है तो पहुंच गए आप अंदुल रोड. तो इफ यू डू नॉट फॉलो द माइलस्टोन्स प्रॉपर्ली तो you are landing at difficult places. So on that perspective, and moreover the department, the revenue officers have got powers to block the ITC, to keep your registration in abeyance, and so many other powers. So what is your view or take on this in GST regime compared to the earlier regime again?
Like you said that forms, like forms and forms, so it reminds me of a movie dialogue of Sunny Deol called Tariq Pe Tariq. So it is forms pe forms, it's just like that. So jokes apart, so I would say that yes, procedural compliances or milestones, I would definitely say on one hand, in GST the procedural milestones ideally have reduced. Why? Because if you see the erstwhile regime for a proper manufacturing company, as Shagun was saying, so there we used to have a larger number of returns to file. So though service tax was half yearly, monthly excise, then VAT, and that was different for across states and all these things. So from here now, we have 1, 3B. So procedural compliances, milestones are there, but more importantly, what is important for me is how you see a procedural milestone. And from here, I'll just take for what Sir said, that Sir was mentioning on a 16/4 compliance, that 16/4, that 30th September, thereafter it was, now it is 30th November. So first of all, I have a basic issue on the 16/4 compliance, because fundamentally under law, anything which sets a time or time bar, you cannot have a merry-go-round time bar. Time bar has to be static, like 42 months, 5 years, like 74A, they are introducing 42 months, other than 73, it was 30 months, 5 years. So it has to be a static. For 16/4, it is dynamic, like somebody getting an invoice in April, he gets more time. Somebody gets an invoice in March, he gets a larger time. So these procedural compliances becomes very difficult. Now, coming down to the next point is, now what happens, like for these people, like Sir was taking up blocking credit. So one is the procedural compliance where 16/4 becomes a major challenge. So number 2 is departmental assessment fund of blocking credit. So irrespective of a fact, whether blocking credit or something, easiest example is till few days back, GSTAT was not established. So the biggest problem was from a day you have an appeal. So appeal order has come, to 90 days you have to file. No rules, no regulation. So one is, if you are not going to the court or getting it stayed, or you are just sitting back, your account, the next day the department comes or a notice comes, your bank account is freezed to that money or that. So these are procedural challenges which people faces across. So now though they have come up with circulars that those things are there, but yes, to me procedural challenges have reduced to that extent, but because now everybody knows what needs to be done. After 7 years, people are more or less aware that 11 तारीख, 20 तारीख, 14 तारीख, हमको ये तारीख अभी ध्यान में घुस गया. In the morning there was a discussion that people give them, and the consultants have to burn their midnight oil OTP के लिए, because ध्यान में घुस गया 20 तारीख, 11 तारीख, 14 तारीख, ये तारीख पे तारीख, but it has now become ingrained. What is more difficult for everybody to fathom is, more than the procedural details, that problem that we face on that interpretational or the things which ideally is there in law, but it is being interpreted in such a way which ideally blocks your credit, which ideally cancels your registration. And we have cases where we have in various places we have fought where there was, yes, I'm not even disputing the fact that there are fake invoices and there are issuance of fake invoices, but even proper people gets penalized in this process as well. So these things becomes a challenge. Other than that, procedural factors more or less has become streamlined in that, though certain things are coming 1A, 2C, but again, that will again get into the system.
So thank you, Rajasekhar. Yes, please.
Sir, when we talk about the fake invoices, now that the department is using so much of AI, data analytics, etc., I'm sure a behavioral pattern has got established for both corporates or the taxpayers, etc., and even for their suppliers. So is it not possible to create some kind of a green channel or award some kind of programs and sort of reduce the scrutiny for people who are in so-called green channel and sort of increase for those who are in red or orange or yellow?
Basically, if you see, we are not doing the assessment or checking for everyone. We have got a risk management system, and most of the return are passing through that. And where the risks are involved, only those cases are being checked. We are not checking 100%. Maybe 5% are being checked. Rest are not being checked. And the reason is that trade discipline, which need to be established, which is still not there. And because of the trade discipline, all these problems are there. So as far as your what you are saying, that green channel and the orange channel, that is there in the system. It is there in the system. It is inbuilt in the system.
So, sir, thank you again for your views on that. Now, coming to the second round and looking after the time available, we need to restrict to 3 minutes. And in fact, I have asked Priyansi to ring the bell at the end of 3 minutes, and the bell will continue ringing so that you get that sense of time as well, when considering the time constraints, of course. Now, coming to Sagunji, although again partly it is already discussed, do you really think that GST free flow of ITC could be ensured in GST regime?
Yeah, I think so. It can, but yes, the fake invoice, as long as the government is, working towards it. So I don't see that could be a possibility in near future, because as correctly said, the discipline to be followed by the industry in totality has to improve. They need to get away from these practices of huge and false invoices. So as long as that is there, I don't see that happening. And even otherwise, there are still certain areas where the credits are blocked. For example, real estate. So anybody into business, buying a huge property and setting up the offices, the credits are not available. So those are the areas. And then there are certain other areas where the credit is not available. So to that extent, yes, the blockage is there. Petroleum also. So I think so the government should be working, and I believe they must be working towards it. So how that credit can also be unlocked and reach to the industry.
So thank you, Shagunji. In fact, we could look at it from another angle, that earlier in an industry, in a manufacturing company, say, how much was available for credit of taxes paid earlier and how much is available now. That probably would be a more realistic yardstick to check, apart from, of course, not considering the fraudulent invoices, fraudulent cases and all. So, but that is a regular practice, as Sir was probably mentioning. It is a social evil actually. So that will be there, but we cannot take that into consideration. Otherwise, probably the law could ensure free flow of credit to a large extent, if not 100%. Pramodji, I would come to you now. So do you think that GST is a transparent tax system compared to the earlier tax regime?
I think so. overall, I mean, I can elaborate on that, but
Please,
let me.
3 minutes.
Like, if I was to look at it, I mean, when pre-GST, I mean, I also happen to have worked in HUL, which is as much FMCG as it can be. I would have different manufacturing units in different states, then I would have states selling. Some states would have turnover tax, some states would have purchase tax, some states would have input credit in some format or the other, and none of these numbers really had a correlation with your, let's say, published results. You had to do an enormous number of memorandum numbers, reconciliations, information would be, I mean, you don't have a validation of that information available in any of those things. And then for C forms and F forms, you have to anyways run around and stuff like that. Over here, I think one of the biggest thing is that what is your taxable turnover is also your GST turnover, and you have a reconciliation between the two, and a lot of that reconciliation is system driven. Or at least you can put systems and processes in place which will reconcile the two. So therefore, there is a unity of books of accounts on which you do your accounting, you do your management MIS, and you do your direct taxation, and you do your indirect taxation, and including that, even the input tax credit accounting has been improved. Sorry, I have a very large organization perspective, so therefore I will tend to be a lot more in favor, and with God's grace I have worked in most compliant organizations, and therefore maybe they have passed through organizations, departments, green channel, and therefore I don't feel as strongly about notices, etc. But I keep hearing, because like all of us, I am also in WhatsApp groups, and I seem to be fairly often a voice on the other side, and some people or some friends of mine go quite vitriolic about my views on the other side, and I get a lot of grief for them. So I'm aware of that, but intrinsically I think it has improved the transparency, because there is a unity of accounting between your financial reporting, your management systems, management information systems, your direct taxation, your indirect taxation, exports, imports, etc., everything. So that's the way I look at it.
So again, thank you, Pramodji, for your views on the point put across. In fact, just maybe a little different perspective again. If we talk about transparency in the tax system, GST is definitely a very, very transparent tax system compared to the earlier regime, because earlier when I was buying a shirt at 2,000 rupees and tax charged at the rate of 10%, say 200 rupees, we know that 200 rupees is not the total cost on that. We knew that 100 rupees is another hidden cost hidden behind. Sir, probably 100 से ज़्यादा ही होगा, यार अदर 200 से ज़्यादा ही होगा. Central excise and other CST, entry tax, all those were hidden. So that were not transparently available. But today, when we are buying a shirt at 2,000 and paying a tax of 200, so we know that the tax paid is actually 200. Or maybe another hidden cost of, let's say, 5%, like Sagunji was saying, कि real estate का input नहीं मिलता है. So there are maybe hardly 5% items जिसका input tax credit नहीं मिलता है. So that means maybe 200 रुपया अगर हम tax दे रहे हैं तो और 20 रुपया hidden होगा. So that way it is a transparent tax system compared to the earlier regime. Definitely that is so. Yes, please, please, please.
Also add that the entire GSTN network with so much of data, and at the screen sitting anywhere in the world, you can see the assessment and the return status of each and every state. I think so that is a very remarkable thing, and GSTN network is the world's biggest data network. So with the managing that data network and to ensure that it is not going down any point of time and allowing the assessee to see everything with one shot, I think so that is a very big achievement, and that brings in a lot of transparency also in all the legal matters, in the litigations, and what is the status. That's
so
a big
again,
achievement.
big thumbs up for GST. Thank you. Now again, I'll come back to Kedia sir. Sir, again, although since issues are partly being overlapped, discussions are being overlapped, I come with a specific question again. How do you see revenue frauds vis-a-vis ease of doing business? As we have already addressed partly. 3 minutes, sir.
See, again, I will say that as far as large taxpayers are concerned, revenue fraud is hardly there. It's just impossible for them to do the fraud. Maybe their cases are more or less restricted to 17.5 cases. That is the only dispute which is normally there in case of large taxpayers. The nature of fraud, which has reduced drastically, and most of the cases we can detect through system itself. We need not to go to the assessee. I can tell you, if I generate 3B, GSTR 3B, list of suppliers and the list of buyers, almost I can tell the complete history of the company. I will just give you an example. See, if you understand the business, immediately by reading the GSTR 3B, you can immediately track whether he is a genuine taxpayer or he is a fraud, he is doing something fraud. If you are doing a business, your business will be throughout the year. Definitely it may reduce. Your turnover may reduce by 10% or 15% every month. It may be there, but fluctuation, but it will not be there that you are doing a business for 2 months and for 10 months you are not doing the business. So you download the GSTR 3B, you will find out that yes, it is a fraud case. It is just impossible. It does not happen in the nature of business. So actually the fraud has reduced, but it is limited. It has reduced, it has limited. But whatever fraud is there, the volume is too large. That is the biggest problem. I am telling you, with half of the Calcutta, I have more than 2,000 cases, and every cases the amount may be more. On an average, if I do, it will be 10 crore ITC case. 2,000 cases. How one can handle 2,000 cases? This is the quantum. So volume has increased. Why volume has increased? The reason is, again, we have a certain set of business here. That is building the invoice, making the invoice and selling the invoice. This is a big business, not only in Calcutta, throughout India. The tax system, it is not related to, the problem of GST is not related to GST only. It is an income tax problem. It is a bank problem. You are increasing the number of, you are trying to increase the turnover. Why you want to increase the turnover? You want to take the loan. Now, for building the turnover, there is no, basically, there is no problem with the GST. But all the procedures, he is creating the invoice, not selling it, again issuing the invoice to somebody. So, as far as fraud is concerned, I think it has reduced drastically. We have certain problem. It is mainly related to fake invoicing. That is the biggest problem, challenge, which government is doing it. It's not that government is not doing it. We are trying to find out the solution to it. It's very difficult to basically establish who is actually doing. जिसको भी हम पकड़ते हैं, वो सारे कुली निकलते हैं या लेबरर्स निकलते हैं. That is the biggest challenge. आप समझिए, if I have to put them behind bar, एक ऐसे व्यक्ति को हम behind bar डालेंगे, जो basically जिसकी earning 10,000 रुपया है, वो 10,000 रुपये में 100 करोड़ का काम करके चला गया. See, this is the challenge which department is facing it. So, आप विश्वास नहीं करेंगे, मेरे पास half of Calcutta में every day I have to face more than 10 high court cases per day. New cases I am receiving it. You just see the statistics. It's the high court which are favoring the department. High court also understand the problem. We are getting most of the decision in our favor. आपने registration cancellation की बात किया है. अगर हाई कोर्ट बोलता है, अगर कोई पार्टी हाई कोर्ट में जाती है, so we become happy. Why? At least person is traceable. Our biggest challenge is person is not traceable. You come to, आप registration cancellation की बात करते हैं. आप आइए मेरे सामने, मैं आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन रिस्टोर कर दूंगा. आप बैंक के डिफ्रीजिंग की बात करते हैं. आप मेरे सामने आइए, मैं आपका अकाउंट को आईटीसी को भी अनब्लॉक कर दूंगा. What is our biggest problem? Person is not there. हमारे सो कॉज नोटिस इशू होते हैं जो कोई रिसीव करने के लिए नहीं है. दिस इज द बिगेस्ट चैलेंज. ये आप ये मत समझिए ये डिपार्टमेंट का प्रॉब्लम है, ये आपकी समस्या है. यू आर लूजिंग मनी, द इंडिया इज लूजिंग मनी. वी हैव टू सॉर्ट आउट दैट. सो फ्रॉड जो है हमारे लिमिटेड है, कहीं ना कहीं हम लोग उसका सोल्यूशन ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. वी आर ट्राइंग टू इस्टेब्लिश इट. डिपार्टमेंट का कोई इंटेंशन नहीं है कि भाई वो शोकाज इशू करते रहे. सबको परेशानी है शोकाज से, आपको भी परेशानी है, बट स्टिल जो प्रॉब्लम है उस प्रॉब्लम को वी हैव टू सॉर्ट आउट. सब मिलके हम लोगों को सॉर्ट, अगर आपके पास सॉल्यूशन है, कम टू अस, वी विल फाइंड आउट द सॉल्यूशन. थैंक यू.
So thank you, sir, again for coming out with your words of wisdom with words of alerts as well. Rajarshi, again, I'll come to you. Administrative intervention, assessment, audit, investigation, verification, vis-a-vis ease of doing business. What is your views on that?
So, definitely with the more number of notices coming into place, definitely, and plus with the timeline pressure, so that creates a lot of issues in also having some assessment pressures on the departmental people, because as sir was saying, with the huge number of notices and to which we feel that with the paucity of their manpower, there are cases where assessees are being served with notices or thereafter show cause appeals without giving, many a times without a hearing, and many a times even after a hearing without getting in or delving into the matter. One, because of the timeline issue, because that is a major issue, because 30th June, hey, Tariq pe Tariq, Tariq pe Tariq, this is one. Number two is, another problem is down the line, but like sir is saying, that what people are facing from an assessment is more or less of an interpretation. So I give you the basic example. Everybody here knows there is a circular called Circular 183, which provides that 17, 18, 18, 19, if I correctly say the circular number, that you need to give a certificate. 5 lakh के ऊपर होगा तो CA, 5 lakh के नीचे होगा तो. Even after giving certificates, they have confirmed orders, and I am telling you, saying supply details not there, ye details not there. It is that the problem is that at that too at the appeal order, the problem is there is no fixed there is nothing fixed there. What would be the format of a certificate? Then either you give us a format, if we are providing a format, thereafter you are giving, even confirming the order, that becomes problem. So these are, it is not about the notices, but how the notices are subsequently being handled. Like major issue, transitional credit. So let's say in the erstwhile regime, if some product is exempted and it is under VAT, people generally reverses the VAT credit. Ideally, the VAT credit is to be reversed. So because you are not entitled to the credit, same as here, which is rule 42, as we say under GST. So now if you take a VAT reverse, and in GST that is taxable ideally, so you are entitled to that credit, 1 year credit, because you have reversed, because it is taxable now. We have got appeal orders where senior person from the department says that reversal is also utilization of credit, and that is what an appeal order comes in. So it is not about how it is assessed. We don't mind, even companies don't mind going for assessments. It is even after you produce all the data, the best of the data, the correct data, because if everybody is thinking that we have to have an assessment. Even trust me, the consultants who are there and who also work for the people, chartered accountants, lawyers, everybody, in case they don't get an order, I just take 30 seconds more. In case they don't get an order which is right, and you get an order, the company says that what work you are doing, that means you are wrong on the other side. They don't understand that it is the problem on the departmental side that they are not understanding. So here lies a little bit of an issue, so where I thought of it.
So again, yes.
I will just comment on this. See, assessment is done, you get the demand notice. So where is the problem after that? And Mr. Arun Agarwal is the biggest sufferer, getting a demand notice of 280 crores, whose turnover is 5 crore rupees, 35 crore rupees. He knows what is the basic problem, and still I have told my officer, you do it genuinely and you drop the demand and I will accept it. Still he is not dropping the demand. That is the... See, there is a power of revision which is given to the commissioner. If you read the power of revision, so you must be thinking that if any order is wrong, so commissioner can revise it. That is not the case. During the appeal period, you cannot revise it. And if you, the commissioner will only revise if it is detrimental to the revenue. Even that there is a wrong order, the only course of action is the commissioner appeal. The biggest problem is time limit. If you go to the central excise era or service tax era, there was no time limit for adjudication. So the adjudicating authority has the lot of time to, if you see the paper of 180 crore rupees demand, it's a huge paper which need to be checked. And the officer with the multiple work, my officer is on duty, election duty, and he has to adjudicate more than 150 order, more than 150 cases and issue the order within 5 days. If he does not issue the order, he will be charge sheeted. See, these are the challenges which by law it has to be changed. These are the issues which need to be taken up. You cannot basically, this is the real life problem. Why the quality of adjudication order is not good? The reason is the time limit. The second is the expertise. Earlier there were a lot of expertise. At present, a lot of expertise is not there. I am sure when it comes to the tribunal level, definitely all these cases will be dropped because they don't have the time limit. But the biggest challenge is the time limit and the expertise. And maybe with the time, the quality of order will improve. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, again for your feedback on the issue of serious concern, of course. Friends, in fact, we have completed 3 rounds as per schedule, but I would come with 2 more questions only, with 2 of the panelists. One, again, maybe I would like to come to Kedia, sir. Sir, why cancellation of registration? The general issue raised is taxpayer does not exist. Many people call it NGPT, non-genuine taxpayers. It has become a very big problem today as never before, as in GST. So what is it? But I would like you to...
I will be the most happy person if the person comes and he said, my registration is cancelled and I exist there. I will immediately on the same day, within 1 hour, I will restore it. The point is, I must have cancelled more than 5,000 cases. More than 5,000 cases. Not a single person has come that my registration has been cancelled wrongly. That is the statistics. If he comes, I will be the most happiest person. The reason is I can raise the demand and give it to him. In more than 5,000 cases, there is nobody to receive the demand. So this is the problem. Department is not interested in cancellation of the registration. What exactly is happening? Everything is, every day the person, the mastermind at some place is creating the document, uploading the document, giving the credit. If we don't cancel it, it will be going on. So immediately we have to cancel and stop it. That is the reason for cancellation. And you will not believe it that the listed company, which we have booked the case yesterday, there was no function at the declared principal place of business. It was completely closed, no work. Imagine a person doing a business of more than 100 crore rupees. His transportation cost is less than 25,000 rupees. This is the real life balance sheet. And we people are certifying that. We need to understand that. So, cancellation, Mr. Arun Agarwal's answer, we will be the most happiest person not to cancel the registration. Thank you.
So the last question, before I come to the audience for some questions. So the last question is to Rajarsi. Rajarsi, ROD orders, clarifications or notifications day in and day out, which are coming, do you think they are actually simplifying ease of doing business, helping in ease of doing business, or creating some more problems, some new complications, new issues?
My answer would be 50-50, because yes, definitely, as Shagun was saying, because there are industry issues which day in day out, as is where people are giving a shout across. Definitely government is listening to that, and they are bringing in circulars, and there are galore of circulars which has clarified a lot of things. They are trying to bring in amnesty, which is also very good. So these are exceptionally good circulars, clarifications on liquidated damages, granting refund to the buyers or real estate buyers who, because of the issues of that, the persons cannot give them the money back, and all these are brilliant circulars, really clarifying and helping the SSEs. But on the flip side, there are certain things which are causing a lot of interpretational issues, like corporate guarantee. Few days back, a corporate guarantee circular comes in because of the 26/10/2023 agreed. We all understand that it is just a clarification under law, with a new rule 28(2) coming on force, everything giving 1%, this, that. They have clearly clarified that this corporate guarantee is there, and the valuation will be rule 28(1). Immediately that would create a galore of show cause notices issued, and there will be, first of all, whether the guy will get credit, not credit, these are issues. Again, 16(4) coming down to the place where sir was saying issues all sent to 30/11/2021. Okay, what happened if somebody has already reversed credit? Department has even issued notices that it is not there in 2A, company being compliant, reverse credit, paid interest, penalty, they have reverse credit by their own. What will happen to that? How would are they entitled to credit? Section 54 time has lapsed. There is relevant date, there is no such provisions inserted. So so there are things definitely which is coming in lot to an ease of business, but there are similar circulars, and if I start talking, I can talk over the day that what are the issues are there. But something which struck me, so there are circulars, notifications which are causing a little difficulty, and for which there are notices which are being issued. So these things, if are being addressed quickly, then that might cause a little bit of a more issue.
Thank you, Rajoshi. So friends, GST, with GST being introduced, number one, the law has come with a very noble idea, that is for sure, to really bring in ease of doing business, but at the same time, relying more on the IT infrastructure, more on internet connectivity, broadband, more on systems-based, data-based compliances. So it has created some problems with some of the micro and small entities. Number two, it has actually reduced issues in dispute, potential issues in dispute, but at the same time created new issues in dispute, new disputes on ITC. The system itself, before the GST being in place, it was known that GST is prone to litigations, and it is so. So it has made life a little difficult on that front to make department convinced that ITC is genuine, not fraud, not a fraudulent one. Not that in all cases where department books cases, it's not that in all cases it is actually fraudulent. Many cases we are also coming across, we are going to courts and we are winning those cases as well, coming in our favor, saying that yes, actually it was not fraudulent. But the tendency, the culture, as sir said, the behavioral pattern that shows that yes, problems are there, and that has created more problems for that. The quality of notices, quality of orders, on that front again, as sir was also probably indicating, Rajoshi also indicated that huge quantum of training, alignment, brainstorming was required on the department's front as well, assessees had no other choice but to get trained. Sushil Goyalji, our chairman GST committee, in the morning was saying how institute has worked on that front to train our members, chartered accountants, to train industries and trade and other fellow members on how to ensure GST compliance starting from 1st day of July 2017. But probably on the department side, this training which was very much required probably was not taken enoughly. Sir recently told me that abhi humne ek GST ka training karwaya. Sir, in fact, even we have also done some training programs on institutes platform from under institutes banner for the revenue officers. I think Sushil 2000 मैंने कई programs हम लोगों ने training का कर चुके हैं हम लोग. State department के लिए भी rigorous training programs we have done. So that on that front training was very much required to align the thoughts of the officers as to what exactly is intended, what is the philosophy behind it, so that actually quality of notices, quality of orders do not suffer. But probably that has been a matter of concern which actually comes on the way of ease of doing business. So these are few issues. Friends, I'll come to only one question, and maybe I would expect some of the members from audience to answer. Maybe
one question from me, sir.
Yes, Sushil ji, please.
I directly asking Commissioner sir. Sir, there is a provision section 16(4), we all know, and it is now part of the finance bill also. And number of SOCOS notices has been issued, and there are SOCOS notices which is purely on 16(4), no other matter is there. But somehow this officer is saying I have to issue order, where we understand it is not time barred. But the officer is insisting on issuing order. So my humble request, why not from the commissioner itself issue a direction to them that please, if this is the case, no order should be issued, or we wait for the last date. And if we go for appeal, you know everything about that.
Definitely, I know that 16(4) is the biggest problem, and most of the cases we have already adjudicated, and everyone has to go to appeal. See, the biggest problem is when the GST Council issue the order. So he has already said that whether 16(4) cases, what will happen to the pending SOCOS notice? It should have been clarified that time. It is not clarified. What will happen to those cases where it is already confirmed whether they should go to the commission appeal? These clarification has not come. I think you should give a representation to the board and they should clarify it. See, field formation work on the basis of the direction of the whatever circular is there. Unless the field formation get a direction from the board, the field formation is not going to stop the work. Whether it is a useless work, but they have to do the work. It is, they are doing like a mechanical things. So I think you should represent to the board and tell them that all this clarification should come immediately.
Sir,
so
which is within the power of the commissioner.
It is not in the power of commissioner.
To ask the officer not to issue order.
No.
Till the date is there.
No, till the date is there, definitely that can be done.
Yeah, that is only I am requesting.
That
time
we can
is
do.
Available with them.
That we can do.
Yeah, that is only request.
That we can do.
So I was just coming to one question for the audience, and I want people from the audience to answer on their views on that. 1 minute each, and maybe if there are many, so I would restrict to 3 to 4. My simple question is, what additional reforms are needed to enhance ease of doing business and propel sectoral growth in next 2-3 years? So what additional reforms are needed to enhance ease of doing business? Probably if any one of you are interested to respond to that, anyone from the audience, but I would definitely expect some. Please, Shivani. 1 minute each, sorry.
So we are still grappling with a lot of show cause notices as far as service tax is concerned. So it's a humble request, if there can be a deadline within which the orders can be issued, we can start concentrating on GST.
The board has already said that the last year financial only it was supposed to be completed, but because of the volume of the so-called notice, it could not be. The board has given the deadline of September 2024. So most probably it will be completed by what I know is to be issued by September 2024.
Okay.
Then the things will be pending at the commission appeal level.
Thank you so much. And sir, just one follow.
I'll give you a chance for other questions. Now, my question first, then your questions. Yes, anyone? Siddhant.
So, at times, e-way bill portal gets restricted if the return...
Are you addressing my question or...
No question, sir. Yeah, so at times e-waybill portal gets restricted if the return is not filed for 2 or more months. But sometimes due to cash crunch, the party cannot file their return because they have not received the payment from the vendor to pay the GST, and hence they cannot file GST or 3B. In this case, what can the taxpayer do, sir?
See, you are basically there is a time limit for filing the return, and you can basically, your registration will be cancelled only if you have not filed the GSTR 3B for 6 months. So, as far as getting the tax from the taxpayer and then depositing it, that system is not there basically. Whatever your tax liability is there, you must pay. Okay, and you have got a time limit. So you have to basically improve your business. Everything is to improve your business. The system is not going to change. So basically you have to improve your, or make the discipline in your business.
So Aditya.
Good evening, sir. So my humble request is that we have seen that for the initial 3 years, financial year 17, 18, 18, 19 and 19, 20, your government has come up with an amnesty scheme wherein you are giving a waiver from interest and penalty, right? On the other side, under section 16(4) also, you are giving the relaxation for the initial 4 years, right? But at the same time, the people who are genuinely, have done a delay in filing the appeal on account of some genuine reasons like medical reasons, or on account of some kind of a taxpayers who are located in a very remote location, let's say in Harishchandrapur or Malda or in Begusrai in Bihar or something like that. So there the people or the taxpayers who are the proprietors or the partnership firm, they are not well acquainted with the timelines of the appeals. They are only acquainted with the returns timeline, right? Because the assessments and everything for the initial 3 years are being completed now, and it is now that the demand orders have come. So they are not well aware with the 3 months timeline. Practically in my few of my clients' cases, I have faced that one of my client who was seriously ill and was admitted in Hyderabad, he has given all sort of medical records, but his delay.
Solution बताऊं, लंबा क्वेश्चन मत कीजिए, मैं आपको सॉल्यूशन बता रहा हूँ. 3 महीने प्लस 1 महीने, 4 महीने से बियॉन्ड आपके रिजेक्ट हो जाएंगे कमिश्नर अपील लेवल पर, ठीक है? आप हाई कोर्ट में अगर आपके बहुत बड़े अमाउंट के केसेस है, छोटे अमाउंट है, पेमेंट करके बंद कर दीजिए. बड़े अमाउंट है, हाई कोर्ट से लेके, हाई कोर्ट हैज गॉट अ पावर, वो आपको अलाउ कर देगी. अदरवाइज आप बोर्ड के पास जाइए, बोर्ड को कहिए कि वो एक्ट को चेंज करे. These are the only 3 solutions. Rest कोई solution नहीं है आपके पास.
So again coming to repeating my question, if anyone, Subham, agar if you are on my question, then because it is not, I want you only to raise or give your suggestion, not raise a question. Correct. After that, I'll allow you to raise your questions. But Abhi, my point is, if you have one suggestion to improve compliance in GST or governance in GST or ease of doing business to facilitate.
Just one suggestion, the new amnesty scheme which has come in, or which is about to come in rather, it should allow us issue-wise amnesty, because right now under section 73, either we pay the entire amount which is there in the show cause notice, and there are a lot of issues which are not relevant in that, and some of issues are relevant. So probably this amnesty scheme may not be as successful as we are thinking as of now, if this particular issue is not addressed. So that's the. Thank you.
Thank you, Subham. Arup.
Sir, I think the one thing that needs to be changed is regarding the modus operandi of the business is changing. So in case of central tax, especially in case of registrations for co-working space, we are finding a huge difficulty. So as the modality has changed, individual people sitting in Mumbai, maybe they are starting business here. So in many of the cases, the registrations are not being approved. Even for state tax also it is happening, but in case of central tax, it's all the more. So I think if a modality could be developed, because this is the practical future.
रजिस्ट्रेशन का जो सिस्टम है, इट इज़ अ सेंट्रलाइज रजिस्ट्रेशन होता है, ठीक है, और मोस्टली इट इज़ बीइंग अप्रूव्ड. जहाँ पर डॉक्यूमेंट कहाँ रिजेक्ट हो रहे हैं, जहाँ पर डॉक्यूमेंट सफिशिएंट नहीं है, वहाँ पर रिजेक्ट हो रहे हैं. अभी बायोमेट्रिक सिस्टम आपका 1 तारीख से चालू हो जाएगा. पूरे मतलब पूरे कलकत्ता में अलग अलग ऑफिस में बायोमेट्रिक करवा के आप करवा सकते हैं. तो मेरे हिसाब से ये जो रजिस्ट्रेशन रिजेक्शन हो रही है, बायोमेट्रिक के बाद प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगी. सो बायोमेट्रिक सिस्टम आपका 1 तारीख से चालू हो जाएगा. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इज ऑलरेडी रेडी विद दैट.
Now, yes, please.
One suggestion even I have from Imami perspective. अभी क्या हो रहा है sir? DGGI is issuing notices for pan-Imami issue across the country. So we are facing in Amritsar, a lot of places. So I think so this thing should be localized either in the registered office or one office you identify the eastern zone, western zone. But you cannot have every DGGI office running after you for one matter which is for pan
मेरे
India.
हिसाब से you can request to the DGGI and they can transfer your cases to one place. That is already done. That can be done. There is no problem.
I will just share my experience, sir. I have tried in a number of cases, but they don't. Correct.
Even if it is not similar matters, so इस तरह के guideline हैं basically. So all the investigation should be done by one agency at one place. So इस तरह की guideline है. If the lower level पर आप problem क्या होती है आप यहाँ state के साथ कि they don't approach the higher officer. आप यहाँ कलकत्ता में DGGI is sitting there. You go and meet there. She will take a call immediately. She will get it transferred to single place. ये सब issues हैं ही नहीं. ये इश्यूज इसलिए हैं क्योंकि आप नीचे लेवल पर बात कर रहे हैं और आप चीज को प्रॉपर फॉरम पर रिप्रेजेंट नहीं कर रहे हैं. हाँ, जानते नहीं हैं.
Sir has been in DGGI for quite some time, so you can take his advice on that. ये अंदर की बातें हर कोई नहीं बताएंगे. So probably the last observation. And then we, अच्छा, should we take that first?
Sir, my observation or suggestion or question. GST have to stand its own feet. Till now, GST is taking credit the technology. The ease of doing business system now, due to easy compliance, lesser logistic time, e-invoicing, is all with the support of technology. I think that the GST taking credit the credit of technology credit is GST taking. Half of the credit goes to IT man who made the system for GST. We are mixing the GST and technology, but technology, with the help of technology, GST is taking this such type of credit.
That's again, as we already discussed, that technology is taking forefront. And in fact, I would like to just make one small observation on that. Government, before implementation of GST or at the time of implementation of GST, promised, and the law also promises, of course, that portal does not have any discretion. Portal is only a facilitator. But believe me, sir, each and every officer will say, "मेरा तो कुछ करने का नहीं है, portal कर रहा है." So how it can be handled?
See, all the officers are human first. तो वो ह्यूमन नेचर से वो बोल देते हैं, वो अपने झंझट से निकलने के लिए आपको वो उत्तर दे देते हैं. लेकिन ये चीज मान के चलिए कि जो पोर्टल के कारण अगर प्रॉब्लम है तो उससे आपको ड्यू क्रेडिट वो सब आपको रुकेगी नहीं, वो आपको मिलेगा ही मिलेगा.
करेक्ट, वेरी क्लियर. थैंक यू सो मच सर. प्रमोद जी, लास्ट ऑब्जर्वेशन.
One is the GST tribunals have not yet started operating, so I think getting them operational will be good. That's number one. Number two, we have seen that the record of AAR has been rather dismal in terms of the quality of orders or giving balanced orders which balance the or the orders which are balancing the interests of revenue and the assesses. I think these are the 2 points at a broader level.
Thank you so much. I just ignored the last from the last row, lady, please. Okay, mic. Can you please come forward or take that mic?
So the suggestion is, how do we ensure that section 16(2)(c) has been complied with? How do we ensure that the supplier has already paid the credit against which we are claiming, paid the tax against which we are claiming the credit of? There is no possible mechanism. There is the undertaking enough, or it is not even possible for all companies to go after every supplier taking an undertaking that हाँ हमने क्रेडिट जमा हमने आपका टैक्स गवर्नमेंट को जमा किया है. हम ये कैसे प्रूव करें? इसके लिए कुछ ना कुछ लॉ में तो लिख दिया है कि प्रूव करना है आपको, बट कैसे करें इसके लिए गवर्नमेंट को कुछ बताना चाहिए हम लोगों की क्या कर सकते हैं.
आपका सजेशन अच्छा है. आई थिंक यू कैन ब्रॉट टू दिस नोटिस ऑफ GSTN, और GSTN बेसिकली वो आपके पोर्टल में डाल सकता है कि जो भी सप्लायर है वो पेमेंट किया है या नहीं किया है, क्योंकि वो तो सिस्टम से पता चल जाता है. So it can inform to you through the system. So it's a good suggestion. It can be incorporated. You have to refer to the GSTN.
Very big question actually. Government is totally confused. क्या करना है? Regularly new conditions are brought in the law, but still they are not happy. कि कैसे ये prove होगा? With this, friends, we come to the end of the session and the whole day's program. Thank you everyone for being here with us till the last moment, and special thanks to our panelists, starting from KDR Sir, Principal Commissioner Kolkata North, Pramod ji, Haldia Petrochemicals, Rajasi, our lawyer, Sagun ji from Imami, and each and every one of you being present here. Thank you very much. Please carry this with a round of applause.
So it was basically a fruitful panel discussion from different dynamics, from department, from the perspective of a taxpayer, from perspective of professional. Now I would request Priyanshi to propose a vote of thanks for this. Thank you.
As we reach the conclusion of this enriching and insightful GST conclave, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to the panelists. Your valuable discussions and valuable insights have highlighted the significant progress GST has made over the years. And we've also seen how GST has made business easier from the viewpoint of the department as well as the professionals and the industry. So thank you so much. Thank you to the participants, and a heartfelt thank you to the organizing team for putting in together such a great event. Thank you so much. I would like to request the panelists for a group photo.